I think for any team that is in the finals, that's just 100% focus. You know that you're the two best teams in the world. Either of you could win. It's a very weird feeling. It feels like you need to win this with all your soul and body and mind. You know, like everything that you've achieved in Dota and that you've done in Dota has built up until this moment.
Some people maybe feel pressured. Crowd was always very friendly to us. The crowd would help us a lot. Big scene is good for us, but for someone else, I don't know, it's different.
50,000, 500,000, 2 million people are watching, like, okay, that's great. It's a lot of pressure. Playing with thousands of spectators watching you, you're more prone to make mistakes because you're thinking about it more. Just keep your cool and not let any distractions such as the crowd or, you know, the pressure get to you. Guarantee you someone else on the other team will let it get to them, so if you're able to keep your cool, you're probably going to win.
Dota is a sick mental game. It brings out the best and worst in you. Who ended up winning the mental warfare always won the series. That's how you're going to win tournaments. That's how you win the tournament. And, if you break the other mind, it gets really easy. Some minds are really hard to beat though.
Well, at TI5, I had no anxiety. Like, I was totally comfortable in my own skin, and I think that I played really well, and everything was great. But then I go to the Summit 4, you know, it's a $100,000 tournament versus this $18 million tournament. I'm sitting there in the finals, down 0-2 against VP, and I'm just like having trouble breathing. It's weird like that, and you don't know when anxiety is gonna hit you. If you're freaking out, you know, somebody else is probably freaking out too.
Just a screw up in the game. You made a mistake in the game, and that's why you lost. Those things can happen, but those things should not eat you. Sadly, a lot of people end up thinking about their loss a lot because they could have done better.
To lose in finals, just one step before winning, it's hit you much harder.
输了以后，第一个感觉就是我很对不起所有的粉丝，因为他们一直以来都很支持我，尤其是在场所有的观众也是在呼喊着我的名字，所以我觉得很对不起他们。然后过后我很伤心，然后我就出去躲在厕所啊，出去啊，一直流眼泪，就很久才能平复下我的心情。
It doesn't matter if we lose or not. Just those words reminds us of what we've done and that we don't need to be afraid of losing. It sounds like maybe not a winning mentality, but I think it's the opposite. You remove the fear of losing, so you would not be afraid to do risks, which can be very necessary in these games.
I hadn't won a lot in my career up until, you know, pre-TI4, but then after we started winning, it was a different kind of scene for me. You got more fans, you got more prestige. Everything changes when you start winning.
Things just worked out for us, and TI5 was our tournament to win. That was one of 2 tournaments we won throughout that entire year, and it was the big one.
觉得自己这是真的吗？就是我当时拿完冠军第一时间就问自己这是真的吗？也没有一些很高兴的一些反应，然后觉得后面确定自己不是在做梦，然后就非常的兴奋吧。
就是如果我会给一个没有打过 TI 决赛的人的意见的话，就是当你打 TI 决赛的时候，就那几个小时，希望可以好好的珍惜，因为时间过得很快，一下子就会过去，然后你会很后悔当时没有好好的享受。
The strongest players doesn't win, it's the strongest team that wins. And it's almost always like that. If you don't perform every second of your games, you might lose to a team that's actually not better than you, but they're just hungrier.
I don't think any Dota player will go into these games and crumble under pressure. This is when you get your strongest. This is when it's going to be the hardest to break you. I strongly believe that if I woke up a morning and I had to play the TI final, I would play the best Dota of my life. And that's all that would matter to me. If I played my very best, nothing else would matter. The All-Star matches are always fun at TI. This is where, everybody gets to have fun from players' perspective and fans' perspective.
Community could vote for players, and 10 players who would get most votes would play 5 against 5.
You really, really appreciate it, especially when you're not chosen, because then you remember it. It means more, right? It's just this good feeling that you know that you're appreciated.
能被邀请去那个打明星赛，其实我觉得就对自己来说就非常兴奋吧，因为我是一个明星。
很喜欢那个就是有写着我名字的那件 T 恤，然后但是我还是比较喜欢玩，不喜欢当 coach。就是很开心啊，就感觉他们穿了就那个衣服，就好像在支持我一样。
TI3 one, I guess, was the most memorable one, where Dandy, ran around after he killed me.
I just had some fun, trolling around.
Whatever, still won the match, easy.
Last year was crazy, because it was 10 against 10.
That was great. I had to pick one guy, and some other guy stood up, and it ended up in a rock, scissors, paper. I felt bad for the guy, but at the same time, everyone was having fun.
I think last year's All-Star match was by far the best one.
For some reason, you have to sit here. Like everybody else chose their own spots to sit. Something's going on here.
How confident are you in this team?
Sitting next to Dendy. Old times,
You wish it were Dendy.
Isn't it?
When mask was pulled off, I was shaking my head and went oh, I'm sorry, people around me, all in my sweat.
Opa Dendy.
It was amazing. They had a lot of fun.
所以当时我觉得娱乐的时候，我买圣剑，我还是要继续全水去虐他们，然后终于我虐了你们，但是输了那场游戏过后，竟然开心，但是又有点丢脸的感觉。
我对明星赛的印象，我觉得现在是做得越来越娱乐了，因为本来就大家不是为了输赢就做得越来越有趣了。
Of course you want to win it still, You don't want to, be the all-star team that loses.
Players know what to do in an instant of a second inside a game. That goes for commentary as well. If a commentator knows this is the moment.
Here comes the ice blast, ready for the dunk! In from Universe! It's a disaster!
I do think that TI is very special for everyone. History of Dota is written at TI.
Navi is about to be caught. Oh, this could be a total disaster! Vacuum in! Ravage on everyone! The black hole as well! Light of Heaven turns it around!
Players and casters are making the history together, of course, but if you don't put voice on what you are doing, it's worthless.
To me, what makes a great call at TI is I'd say a raw emotion.
Boxing in a higher! Epi! Power strike onto two! Just run away, but took them out!
The point is to tell the story of the fight. You have to be able to build up to it. That itself, it's a skill that I feel only a very few people have.
But now the call! There! He stops it right in the tracks! They're gonna be able to take down two! And a third falls from Evo! Evil geniuses!
I think a good crowd is everything. At times, deafening to the point where you can't really hear the game sound. It's always an interesting challenge finding the balance between egging them on and feeding into that passion, but not letting it completely wash you away.
I always want to ride the wave that is the crowd. If they're that loud, then I'm matching them. I will try and keep up.
Bulba wants to open up. Tucky's dragging him back. Nixon holds Bulba away. Joe, low life. He can't Jacuzzi. Nice. He can't Jacuzzi. Liquid get first blood.
That's what the thing is about classic good casting. Every single time, I still get goosebumps.
everything hangs in the balance. It all comes down to this.
The last game of the International 3 finals between Alliance and Navi. 5th game, everything on the line.
One more game, $2 million on the table. Winner, first place at the International, the ages and the prestige of being the best Dota 2 team in the world.
The big one, the $1 million dream coil. Everybody remembers that play. I can remember every single word Luminous is screaming.
Alliance are doing it! They need a little more of those to fall down in jeopardy! There's a glimpse! It could be their last!
All this hype is building. The TPs are canceled. The $1 million dream coil has already happened. They're pushing in.
BKB! They want this run! They're gonna do it!
And it's just like, Alliance is doing it! The Kings of the North!
Alliance wins!
They win TI3! The Alliance just won $1.4 million!
Every time I think about it, I get the shivers. It's just so good.
If you have the same game commentated by different people, it will be a very different story for each commentator because each commentator will highlight something different. The way that Toby does Black Hole, the moment that Enigma is picked, he's like, okay, let's do this, I'm ready. You can see his whole face, it lights up.
Even though it's become a meme and died as a meme, he still gets giddy.
This is gonna be it, he's ready for it.
They're losing their Rama. Black Hole! Big one from Fly! Coming a follow-up into a call! Let the spin skirt, dumps one! It's a double kill! It's an accurate slam! It's a disaster! Oh, VP!
Toby is also really good at commentary because he used to do acting jobs, so he knows how to use his voice without depleting it. And I think the Korean commentators do that as well. They get singing lessons or voice lessons so that they can shout.
There was some clip on YouTube, the Korean casters, the hype level it wasn't just there, it was like here.
And it was just this boring farm fest that went on for forever. And meanwhile, there's just these 2 Korean casters that are going crazy over every little thing.
이거 전략 포즈 아닙니까?
They're bored out of their minds, but they're still yelling.
아니 이 장엄한 베나루의 홀에 예? 아까까지만 해도 도서관이었어요. 왜냐면 관중의 반들이 잠을 자고 있었거든요. 자다 깼는데 아직 게임하니까 짜증난다 이거죠.
They basically had to entertain the entire Korean audience or whoever was listening because the game was so dull.
그래 밀고 있죠. 그렇지 밀고 있죠. 이게 그래 밀고 있어요. 그래 밀고 있어요. 야 제발.
Oh my god, I love that clip so much. Boston Major.
At Finem versus OG, it was the grand finals. It was an insane game. We're playing against Mega Creeps.
This was OD Pixel's moment. He starts talking on the microphone. He says some stupid shit. It makes no sense.
Is he going for it? He's not. He is. No, he's not. Is going for it. He's not. Oh my god.
No. Oh my god.
That could have been it! Anything he said would have gone down in Dota 2 history! And God, if it wasn't the perfect response to that moment.
The best commentators are the ones that can actually entertain the crowd and, more importantly, create the memories. When that one amazing play comes along, you have to elevate that to become memorable for eternity.
The concept of Dark Horse in Dota has always been a big thing, and I think there's a lot behind it, a lot more than what people think.
It's some team coming out of nowhere. People don't expect them to be there.
Someone that will upset the whole tournament and that will make everyone go like, wow, these guys did something spectacular.
For the team that's going as a Dark Horse, it's an advantage, for sure.
The thing is, nobody's looking at you, even though you're the one that has a really good idea how to beat this tournament.
They just enjoy game after game, whereas other teams, they're like thinking about all the pressure or all what's at stake.
就是如果被大家都看好的情况下，其实压力是挺大的啊。如果有一场表现不好，或者说最后的成绩不好，就是整个心态不一样嘛，会比较容易崩溃吧，我觉得。
Maybe OG felt the pressure, that's why we lost against TNC.
We had played TNC before, many times, and there was no doubt in our mind and in their minds also that we were the better team. But they have this fire going for them. It's scary. It's really scary to play these teams because they have nothing to lose.
You underestimate a team, you don't play your best just because you feel it's going to be, quote unquote, you know, a free win. But that free win is a free loss. That's what happens.
我觉得黑马队的性质就是对当前版本有自己的一套独特的打法。
I think DC's what they were doing the most at TI was really focusing on split pushing.
I could count 5 teams or even 10 teams that would be ahead of DC, but they go to the grand finals.
Misery, congratulations. How does it feel to take down the TI5 champs?
Holy shit, dude. That was a crazy ass game.
I always learn a lot watching these dark horses. Usually people just go to them and like, how did you make that happen?
How were you able to do that up against them?
And they always answer like, we don't know, and then they say something, but they actually know.
So, yeah, I don't know.
And what they say right after the we don't know is usually the key to the success they just had.
We kind of pulled some tricks in the draft that made them believe that a core hero was a core, when in fact it was a support all along.
DC went on like one of those crazy OG loser bracket win streaks. Once a team gets in the booth and they get used to the feeling of winning, it's kind of hard to stop them.
These kind of teams, they have a flow going on. It's something very unique and they just roll throughout the tournament.
像 CDC 这支队伍的话，我觉得它是历届所有就是 TI 系列赛中，我觉得是最大的一匹黑马。因为他们是从外卡赛杀进来的一支亚军队伍，并且这支队伍的5个人全是第一次打 TI。
They struggled in the wildcards. They did. They almost didn't make it.
We did play them even 1 month before TI, and you know we just beat the crap out of them. And then 1 month later, they go to the international and they beat the crap out of everyone else.
What a winter's curse from Q demolishes 2 more. I don't know how, but they gave us CDEC again and again with the upsets.
It just caught every team off guard. And I think that's just like a perfect definition of what a dark horse is.
I think every year there's been an underdog that has impressed me.
One of the really hard-working teams from the open qualifiers just seems to surprise everyone. So I don't know what team that'll be.
Dark horses just play a different kind of Dota too. They teach you a lesson. They teach you 2 lessons. It's very inspiring.
It's like a Cinderella story. And when you get those teams starting to beat ours, we showed everyone in the world that everyone can do it.